Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood number 2805-630 self-latching top bolt only. This is a flush bolt. Oh, sorry, I have that upside down. This is a flush bolt, is what this item is. This will latch every single time that the inactive door closes. So what are you going to have? You're going to have this tapered bolt head on the threaded rod. You're going to get all that put together. That's obviously going to hang off like that in orientation to the direction of close. And as I push that button, I retract the latch, which is sticking out of the edge of the, well, it's accessible from the edge of the door. And that's what your installation is going to look like when it's done. Why would you want this? Well, why? Because you occasionally need to open the inactive door once the active door is open, and you need to make sure that the inactive door automatically latches into the frame every time it closes. Think fire-rated doors, obviously, and that's where, of course, you're going to use that. When you have a requirement in a set of doors that both doors be self-latching. There are times when you can have a pair of fire-rated doors, like let's say you had a pair of, real scenario, a pair of 2-foot doors on an electrical closet in a 30-story building, a high-rise building in Chicago. Well, you can open up both of those doors. Well, the inactive door, because there's no one living on the other side of the opening, according to the authority having jurisdiction, will permit, historically, a pair of manual flush bolts to keep that door closed. And you open the door and you do your work in the electrical closet, although that active door needs to be self-closing. Now, imagine if you had two buildings and there was literally an below grade tunnel access between the two buildings. Well, the doors that seal that off, those are going to be fire-rated doors for sure. Both of those doors are going to have to be self-closing and self-latching, and that's where the 2805 certainly is going to come into play. Available in lots of different finishes. 10BE for oil-rubbed bronze equivalent, the powder-coated version. 605 for polished brass. 606 for satin brass. 612 for satin bronze. 613 for oil-rubbed bronze. 625 polished chrome. 626 satin chrome, and then our old faithful 630 stainless steel in a satin finish. It's going to have a T-strike naturally. You've got to have a latching type strike for this to make contact with. And that dimension, we'll go over the dimensions in a moment. You'll have a rod guide for the top of the door, so that has no chance to be able to spin or turn over time. You need to keep that presenting itself at the proper orientation to the lip of the strike and the header. Then of course you're going to get fasteners for everything to hold the body in, the strike, etc. I've mortised for doors for hardware like this countless times. There is, and I can talk intelligently about it and happily help you do that as well. There is a link below this video to a document called Template. Now, the 2805 is a pair of doors that you're going to see, is a flush bolt that you're going to see installed on a fire-rated door. And really what they're expecting that you're going to be putting this on will be a hollow metal door, the 2805. And in fact, that's the only door type that this is listed, as compatible with. Now, is it physically possible to mortise this into a wood door, fire rated? It is. Would you be in violation of the fire rating if you did? You would. So a 2805 is going to be a top bolt only, on a self-latching top bolt for a pair of metal doors. If you need something for a wood door, we can explore that as well, and I'll pull that part number up as I continue to talk. The link below this video to the template is going to show you all about the important dimensional properties of this item, and it's really going to start, well, certainly with the faceplate. That's going to be 6 3/4 by 1 because it will fit into the standard preparation that you would have on common ANSI flush bolt preparation, 6 3/4 by 1. This body depth, they're telling us from that template that you want to have a mortise depth of 2 inch. And I like to get the hardware in hand, certainly if it's the first time I've encountered a piece of hardware, so I can put my tape measure on it and verify the template's correct. They're not hardly ever incorrect, but I'll tell you, 1 out of 10,000, they're wrong. They've not been checked enough, or they're just not right. Or there's been an evolution in the part, or a de-evolution, I guess, when something is new and everything's not caught up. So I like to double check everything. 2 inch deep prep would certainly work. The magic dimension for this is where to put that body in the edge of the door. Well, it's 12 inch from the center of the faceplate to the top of the door. And the length of this rod is going to be compliant with that 12 inch dimension. So being for a hollow metal door, your door is going to be prepped for that 6 3/4 by 1 with the reinforcing tabs that you're going to install the body down onto. What I like to do first, and I just had this question last week, the person said, well, how can I put the rod guide on the door, then sink this down into the top of the door, and then try to get that threaded on? Well, you can't. So thread this on first, then sneak it all through the 6 3/4 by 1 hole, get this to go out through your preparation. Okay. And then once you've got good operation, meaning that when you retract this, that bolt is still captive inside of the guide when it's extended and when it's retracted, then you're good. Then you're done. You might have to remove it and adjust this rod, is what I'm trying to say. But expect to do that. It's certainly your first time. Your rod guide's going to go up at the top of the door, and your door should be at least built with an inverted top channel, or at least somehow prepped to receive this. If you're ordering metal doors, specify this hardware set, this 2805 in the hardware set, and it will be prepped accordingly. The T-strike is going to be up in the header naturally. That's 2 3/4 tall. Strikes are rated by their width, and this is about 1 7/8 inches, but it's really the center line of the screw hole to the edge of the lip. That's how these are not rated, that's how they are measured. That's about 1 7/16 inches. That's typical and common for this. Now looking at the rest of the template, I don't really see anything else of concern, except if you're going to try to prep a flush bolt in the field on your door, stop, because technically you'll violate the fire rating. But if you're a licensed shop to do so, you probably already know how to do it. But in general, the process is cutting that 6 3/4 by 1 prep, getting your reinforcing tabs welded in, getting the top plate put into place where it belongs, however it's going to install, and you are it's just mechanical assembly of hardware at that point. Okay, there is a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure, where you can pull up the 2840, the automatic bolts, and the self-latching bolts. There is a difference. The automatic has a trigger in the end, so that every time the active door makes contact, it will push the bolt in and then up or down in that matter to lock them. Now, we had talked about wood doors. If you have a wood door and you want the same self-latching, you're going to want the 2905. And you can review that from the link below this video to the manufacturer's page, where you can pull up not only all of the Rockwood products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. And that's where you'll be able to pull up that 2905 in the full product catalog. But also there is the architectural door pull catalog that's there. Rockwood has a comprehensive offering of all things architectural door pull related, and different base materials and finishes naturally. And then finally, I'm quite partial to Rockwood, and it's because excellent fit and finish, excellent caliber, customer service, technical support, prompt, reliable, predictable shipping lead times. You can you can count on Rockwood to do their best for your project. They are a manufacturer, so things are made to order, which means that there are lead times. So plan accordingly. Rockwood's name is completely synonymous with trim and auxiliary hardware that you will find in the construction industry, so you'll probably experience a significant level of familiarity with the name at least. If you have any questions on the Rockwood 2805-630 self-latching flush bolt or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.